Coffee experiments. Swear to God, it's a daycare in here. What is going on, world? I am the Hungarian Experiment, and today I'm going to take you through another one of my situational days. Now, I like to work in blocks. 5-day blocks, 7-day blocks, half an hour blocks, and even month-long blocks. And my last month, so over February, was my productivity block. I was just trying to get as much work done as possible, so sometimes I will sacrifice some life factors. I will sacrifice some things I do to optimize my base hormonal output in order to get more work done. So over February was my productivity month. I didn't get a lot of sauna sessions in, and yesterday was my first 2-a-day of 2016. If you guys were following along during 2015, then you saw there towards the end of the year, I really started to experiment around with doing 2-a-days about once a week. And to be honest, I really enjoyed it. So yesterday was my first 2-a-day of 2016. I had to make my day a little bit weird. I started eating around 3:30, and to accommodate my 2-a-day, because I worked till about 11 o'clock at night, I didn't get my last meal until about 1:30 is when I finished my food last night. So I had about a 10-hour eating window, which isn't the greatest for intermittent fasting, but because I did a whole bunch of extra physical activity and I wanted to get prepared for my March block of a lot of lifting and mainly focusing on my physique and my body, I decided that I would make yesterday a situational day and today a situational day. So because I ate so late last night, I ate around 1:30, and it is only about 12:15 right now, I am not gonna eat until after work tonight. I picked up a shift. I'm supposed to be off today, but I picked up a shift from 4 till 8 o'clock. So once I'm done work, I'm gonna go straight to the gym, and then I'm gonna get all my food around 2,400 to 2,600 calories, all at nighttime, all when I'm done everything. This is not even close to one of my typical days. If you guys want to see how I handle one of my typical days, make sure you go follow along my day-to-day playlist. In there you will see many different days and how I handle my days through intermittent fasting. Also, if you guys are interested, make sure you're following me along on Snapchat there, because I document and display my whole day, and I try to make it a little fun and entertaining for you guys as well. Currently producing up my cheat day from last week, and I'm going to be throwing that up on the YouTubes in just the next couple minutes here. And if you guys see, I'm standing up next to a bookcase doing my work, and what the hell am I doing? Now this is a big reason why you guys need to be following me along on Snapchat. I've been following along Matt August lately, and one of the things he's been talking about is if you guys have a leg day, try to avoid sitting. And this is actually something I've noticed on my own body, but it took someone mentioning for me to be like, I understand now why I don't feel the best when I'm at the gym for my leg days, because some days I'll wake up, I do my morning stretches, and I go right off to the gym, and I feel great on those days. But if I do work for about an hour or two, and I normally just sit down on the couch to do work, I feel like I can't get loosened up, and I feel like my back and my lower back is really, really tight. So this week, until the end of February at least, I'm gonna experiment around with standing while I do my work and see how that affects my body. If you guys also been following along, I stopped taking my pre-workout this month. I only took it one day, and I've been avoiding any other forms of like pre-workout energy drink besides coffee. I've been having 1 to 3 coffees a day, usually only about 2 with some xylitol in it, and today I don't even have any xylitol, so it's not the best. I am not a big fan of coffee, but I'm trying to experiment with as many different life factors and as many different lifestyle choices that people tend to put themselves through, so I can see how intermittent fasting affects me and my body while I'm taking coffee. So I got my morning experiments all done, my morning stretches all complete, sipping a coffee here, producing up the cheat day video. Like I said, that'll be up in the next few minutes for you guys, so make sure you go check that out. If you haven't checked it out yet, it'll pop up right here. And yeah, just gonna get a lot of work done. I'm not going to the gym until after work today, so I have a nice 3 to 4 hour block where I can just get as much work done as possible. So I'm gonna be editing up my World Vision video. I hope you guys go check that out. It's not gonna be too interesting at all. It's basically me just sitting in the car driving to Toronto, But I would really love to hear your guys' opinions on some initiatives and programs that I would love to see get started and that I'm already trying to start here in London and here in Canada. So if you guys have some time, please go check out that video and let me know what you think. While the video finishes producing and it gets loaded up to YouTube, I'm gonna start my new book here, Leonardo's Brain by Leonard Schlein. If you guys are interested, I discussed this in a past video. I'll post it up right here for you. But also make sure you're following me along on Instagram because I'll be posting up some interesting and thought-provoking pages from this book so you guys can get an idea of what kind of resource you can expect if you want to go pick this book up for yourselves.
Murphy! Yeah, boy! Yeah, it's a boy!
Come on, Murphy. Let's go get Wade. Whoa!
So I was 163.4 downstairs. Right now I'm 162.2.
Hello.
86-pound giant schnauzer puppy and only 8 months old still. He's gonna get so big still. So my last full day-to-day video I showed you guys there was just a pile of snow out here, and now a week later there's absolutely no snow. Hey! There's no snow and it's just piss and rain. It's just so sporadic here in London lately. To be honest, I'm really enjoying this standing thing. It's a lot better. I can feel my posture better. Standing with my chest out, my ass out. So I think I'm gonna stick to this. If you guys follow along my Snapchat there, one thing I discuss is that Joe Rogan, for his 2 to 3 hour long podcast, he actually uses like a saddle chair. So it's kind of like a bike seat that you sit in, and there's no real backrest. Sorry, Murphy's crying in his little house there. He needed a timeout. He's getting a little annoying. But there's no backrest, so it actually forces you to sit up straight and actually use your stabilizer muscles rather than just slouching in a chair for 2 to 3 hours. So really gonna experiment around with this for the next week or two, and it might just be something that I implement into my long-term lifestyle. So who knows, I guess we'll see. Experiment with something new every single day. You have no idea what you might learn.
Anything because we're stuck in this system, but we can create other incentives. We can create other systems. And it's definitely not going to be easy, but we need to be the generation that is pushing and testing new ideas and experimenting with life.
Alright, so it's just about 3:20 there. I've been standing there for the last 2.5 to 3 hours, and it's time to get ready for work, so let's go. So there's one thing I want to discuss, and this is more a personal thing that you'll feel on your own level, and this all depends on your life situation. And I want to know if other people experience this as well. Now, in the past, more in my teenage years and throughout college, I could really feel like when people were watching me, I could be in my vehicle, or I could be at the gym, or just walking around, and then I got this sudden odd feeling, sensation that someone is watching me. And then I'd look around and see, yeah, someone's staring right at me from across the room. Or if I'm in my vehicle, they're standing at some bus stop and we like lock eyes. The reason I'm discussing this is because I remember this coming up in a Joe Rogan Experience podcast a while ago, probably a couple of years ago now. But it was discussing the difference between how a man felt this and how a woman felt this. And this one woman that was on the podcast, what she discusses that as she went throughout her life, you know, in her teenage years, she was more of that nerdy type, and she didn't get a lot of attention from men. But then as she got into her 20s and she really started experimenting with makeup, and she really finally blossomed, as she said in that video, in that podcast, that she started to lose this sense because she was getting a lot more attention from men. So wherever she went, men were now staring at her, and she slowly started to fade that out and fade that away from her life. Now, as I said there, in the past, I could really feel when people were watching me. But I believe now that I am getting bigger and I'm getting more attention from people at the gym, they're just, you know, they're staring at me a little bit more often, that I'm trying to not allow that to affect me and affect my mind. And personally, I feel that I am losing this sense. I am losing how people are watching me. And is that a serious thing? Is that a big issue? Should that be something that I'm concerned about? I don't know. In this modern society, I don't believe it is a big deal to have this major sense, but it's something that our ancestors definitely needed. They needed to know when they were being watched. They needed to know when someone who was not part of their group was viewing them and watching them, whether it was an animal, a predator, or another tribe was watching them. So I want to know what you guys think. This is just my own personal experience, and all I can do on my YouTube channel is be open and honest, and that's what I want to do. I want to be open and honest about everything, and this is something in my life that I've definitely felt and definitely seen, and I want to be honest that as I am getting more into the YouTube crowd and I'm getting more views, I'm getting watched by people more often, I feel like I am losing this sense. I can't feel it that well anymore. Now, I look across the gym, if someone's staring at me, I don't feel it. I still do get that odd sense every once in a while, like when I'm at work. I can be at work, and because I'm there for a solid 3 to 4 hours, I can feel when someone's staring at me, when someone's staring at the back of my head. And then when I go turn around, I see, oh, that customer they were waiting for me. They were trying to flag me down. So it's still kind of there, yet I'm definitely losing this skill or this ability. So I want to know what you guys think. Do you guys experience this? Can you feel when someone is watching you? So I'm interested. I want to start experimenting with you guys as well. I want your opinions and your beliefs on life and different things. So if this is something that you guys see in your life, then please let me know in the comment box below. Let me know if this is something that you've ever experienced. And let me know, are you a male? Are you a female? How has this possibly changed over the course of your life, as maybe you came into a career where you have to dictate, be a manager of people, and that a lot more people are looking up to you? Is that changing? Are you losing this ability, or is this ability getting stronger with whatever journey you are on in your life? So please let me know what you guys think. I'm almost at work here, and I got a quick little 4-hour servant shift, so I'll see you guys when I'm all done work. I don't understand. Is your vehicle more important than mine? That's where I like to park, but you just parked in the middle of a space, you asshole. Disrespectful. 7 o'clock there, I just finished up my short little shift at work, and now I am sitting at 17.5 hours completely fasted. Energy levels are pretty good at the moment. We got quite busy for some reason, so I had to do a little bit more running around than I expected. So I'm a little drained, I feel a little depleted now, but I'm still gonna go to the gym completely fasted, and I'm gonna get a nice solid workout in, use that great growth hormone boost I get from my fasting to really help put on some muscle while I stay lean. So heading off to the gym right now, and I'm gonna take you guys along my journey at the gym, but unlike some other fitness channels where they discuss the reasons they're doing their lifts and why they're doing it, you guys can go find that in one of my fasted workouts. Throughout this one, I'm just gonna give a little rant. I hope you enjoy. So one thing that I really like to question and ask from people who I know are skillful and knowledgeable and are taking those skills and that knowledge and trying to excel themselves in their life is I like to try to find out what motivates them. What is their main motive? motives in life. And I believe you can really figure out someone's motives with just a couple simple questions. Now, the first question is just to get the ball rolling in their head and to get them thinking. And it's, what would you do if you had unlimited money in this world? What would you be doing with yourself right now and at this point? Now, imagine 10 years from now. Imagine you've had that money for about 10 years. You've already traveled the world. You've already seen places. You've helped all your family members who need help and all the people in your past who would need help. What would you be doing with yourself day to day? What would you be doing to make yourself happy? To make yourself feel like you are successful now that you've had all that money? So, guys, what would you be doing with yourself? If you are now successful, you have all this money, you've balled the hell out, you've already traveled the world, you've already tossed money around at nightclubs, whatever you want to do with yourself, you've done that already. What would you be doing with your day-to-day life to make you feel happy, to make you feel successful? A lot of people don't know how to answer this question because they haven't really put any thought into it. All that's going through their head is, what would I do when I get that money? Not, what would I do with that money now that I've already balled out? Because what motivates a lot of us in this world is that money, and is getting that money. But once you have that money and you've spent it how you think you should spend it, what are you gonna do with yourself? How are you gonna live day to day? And a lot of people can't answer that question because they've never thought it through. Their whole life is striving to get that money. Striving, oh, I wish I could hit the lottery. If I hit the lottery, everything would be better with my life. I really don't think it would be. Why? Because you've never thought it through. You never thought what you would be doing with yourself day to day now that you've had that money for years and years. Because a lot of those people who hit the lottery, they lose all that money very, very fast, or they end up killing themselves because their family and their friends despise them as human beings. So, what would you be doing with yourself day to day? Because I know I've taken the time to develop the personal knowledge for myself while I was a young child and I was growing up as a teenager. And I sat there and I thought, you know, if I had $100 million and I've already done the things that make me happy and make me enjoy life, what would I be doing to feel successful? What would I be doing to feel like I am happy with myself day to day? And I already know I would do a lot of things. I would start up a chicken coop. I would start up my own vegetable garden because I want to know how to sustain myself with my own food. So obviously we all want the big house, we want the big mansion, we want to ball out, we want a nice big boat, we just want to tour around and basically do nothing. But doing nothing for years upon years upon years, you're not going to feel successful. You're not going to feel like you deserve and earn this life. So guys, I'm really asking you here, and I really want to know, what would you do with all that money? What would you do with all that money after you've already balled out? What would you do to feel successful? What kind of skills, what kind of knowledge would you build if you didn't have to worry about going to a job every single day? Think and consider those aspects in life, and man, you will have a completely different mindset. Consider what you would do as a human being, not as a human being who now has cash flow. What would you do to change people's lives? What would you do to help the world? Because a lot of people haven't thought about this. It doesn't go through their head because I've asked this question to hundreds of people that I've worked with throughout my life. And they all give the same answers. Once they say they ball out and they all have fun doing stuff, and then I say, okay, now imagine you've already done all that. What would you do with yourself? They have no idea. Absolutely no idea what they would do with themselves to make themselves happy. They don't know what to do to make themselves happy. They just know that they gotta be chasing that money. And that's what is wrong. So if you have any balls, if you really want to learn something about yourself and develop some personal knowledge, then take 10, 15, maybe even 20 minutes tonight. Meditate. Just sit there and ponder for a little bit. What would you do? What would really make you happy after you have all that money? After you've already spent all that money, and now you're just sitting at home, you've traveled the world. What would you do with yourself? What would make you happy to wake up every single day and be like, yeah, this is what makes me fucking happy? Think about that, guys. Really think about that. Alright, well that's it for me today, world. I'm not going to take you through all my food. I'm basically going home right now, and I'm going to try to smash down 24 to 2,600 calories in about 3.5 to 4.5 hours. I'm just going to try to get all that food in before I head to bed while I do a bunch of editing and stuff, so it's just gonna be pretty boring. There's nothing interesting else to show you guys. So thank you guys very much for watching this video, and thank you very much for following along my journey as the Hungarian experiment. Make sure you guys follow me on Instagram, make sure you guys follow me on Twitter, and don't forget to check out my blogs on thehungarianexperiment.com. I'm also trying to get blood and hormonal testing done on my body so we can see long-term progression over years of how my body is changing and being manipulated by the foods and the different lifestyle choices that I do. So if you have the means, please donate. It's in the description box below. Thank you very much for watching. I am the Hungarian Experiment.